Hello, Preschool 2. It's Mr. John. Our story today is going to come from Curious George's 5-Minute Stories by the author and illustrators Margaret and H.A. Ray. They're a husband and wife team. Our story that we're going to read from this book is called Curious George Says Thank You. He gets a thank you card in the mail because he gave a birthday gift out to someone, so they send him a thank you card. He comes up with the idea of making thank you cards for all the people that he wants to say thank you to. And we have a lot of people right now to say thank you to, because what's going on, like hospital workers that are taking care of sick people, grocery store people that are giving us food, all kinds of people. And Mother's Day is coming up soon. So I had Charlie pretty busy making lots of cards. So let's read our story today, okay? Curious George says thank you. And all Curious George stories start out the same, like this. This is George, and he was a good little monkey and always very curious. Today, George received a surprise in the mail. It looks like you got a card, George, said the man with the yellow hat. It was a thank you card from George's neighbor, Betsy, and it goes like this. Dear George, thank you so much for the birthday present. I'm putting the stickers you gave me on everything, even this card. Sincerely, Betsy. The card made George smile. It also made him curious. Who could he give a thank you card to? George thought and thought. He could send one to the Science Museum director, Dr. Lee, who had shown George her favorite collection of dinosaur fossils. Of course, there was also the librarian who helped him pick out books. The store clerk at the market always saved the best bananas for him, and his friend Bill let George fly his kite in the park. George had so many people to thank. He had to get started right away. First, he gathered paper, envelopes, crayons, and stickers. Then he got to work. The man with the yellow hat had walked in to find George covered from head to toe. Uh-oh, George, what are you doing? George held up Betsy's card and pointed to the papers scattered around him. Oh, I see, George, said his friend. You're making your own thank you cards. What a nice idea. Would you like some help? The man wrote while George decorated. George was having so much fun that they even made a stack of extra cards. We can hand deliver these tomorrow. Everyone will be happy to see you, George. Their first stop was the Science Museum. George, it's so good to see you, said Dr. Lee. What a lovely card. I'm going to hang it on my office right now. Next, they stopped at the library. What a great card, said the librarian. I'm going to set it here on my desk for everyone to see it. George, we have some new books in the children's section that you might like if you have time. George looked at his friend. All right, said the man. I'll go and get a book for myself. George noticed the mail carrier leaving the library. She was the one who had brought George the thank you card in the first place. He wanted to give her one of his cards too. George hurried out the door. Could he catch her in time? George jumped up and down on the steps, waving a card, but a group of children was just getting off the bus. They were coming to the library for story hour. George couldn't see which way the mail carrier had gone. But oh, there was the streetlight nearby. George was curious. Maybe if he climbed it, he could see where the mail carrier was going. George started to climb the streetlight as fast as only a monkey can. But when he was halfway up the pole, his bag slipped off. In an instant, all of George's thank you cards went whirling through the air. Oh no, how would George deliver his cards now? George slid down the pole and grabbed at the cards swirling around him. A boy looked up. Hey, it's snowing mail. The little girl said, Don't worry, little monkey, we'll help you pick up your cards. The children gathered up the cards. George was very grateful for their help. He also was grateful that he brought extra cards. Sorry about that, guys. He decided to give them all up to the children. These cards are so nice, said the teacher. The man with the yellow hat came hurrying down the steps. George, I didn't see you leave. It looks like you've had quite an adventure out there. The man thanked the teacher and his students for helping George. Let's finish delivering those thank you cards, said the man. George and his friends stopped by the market and the park and then headed home. George felt a little sad that he hadn't caught up to the mail carrier. But wait! Who was at George's house? George proudly gave her a thank you card. Wow, George, said the mail carrier. I'm usually the one delivering the cards. This sure is a treat. George waved goodbye, and he and the man went into their house. But George had one very special thank you card to deliver. He had saved the best for last. Who's it for? It's a yellow hat. It's for the man in the yellow hat. What a nice friend George is. Take care.